Hail, EC here, and let's just talk about this. Let's talk about the GameCube app and talk about whether or not we can see mature games on the service. Now, I'm going to go over that in this video, so if you're new, make sure you subscribe, like all that stuff. We're trying to hit, billions of subscribers and whatever. So, let's talk about it. So, the GameCube was actually quite a notable system for Nintendo, as it was really the first time Nintendo actually made their own first-party games that were rated M for mature. Now, they didn't have many games that were mature back then. They had Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, and Geist, and that was basically the extent of Nintendo's first-party output. That was obviously M-rated games that were 18 plus. Now, I think the idea that you could also get games like Metal Gear Solid, Twin Snakes, and potentially some classic Resident Evil games, although Resident Evil is notorious for being remade and remastered and brought to modern systems, so I don't really know how likely that would be. We've got to talk about the idea that they could release mature games on Nintendo Switch Online for the GameCube. We also need to factor in the fact that the GameCube app wouldn't be the first console within the Nintendo Switch Online library that I would have a separate app for the mature content, which is similar to, obviously, the Nintendo 64, which was the predecessor to the GameCube, because the Nintendo 64 app, for example, has a mature app, which has all the R-rated and, R-rated, M-rated and 18-plus games that are available on that platform. Now, I think it's likely we could see GameCube, having this sort of mature app and this M-rated sort of app, because it makes a lot of sense. There are some notable games that could, a lot of people seem to want to be re-released. For example, Eternal Darkness is one I'm going to mention again because it's one that I personally own on the GameCube. It's one I've seen people talk about having it on Switch Online and how fun that would be. I mean, imagine playing that on a modern hardware and it being a portable system as well. That'd be kind of cool. But I digress. There's no guarantee that we're going to get these mature games on Switch Online expansion pack for the GameCube. However, I do think it would be very likely because Nintendo would just want to try and find a way to keep expanding its roster of games and content on the Switch Online expansion pack to keep people subscribed, and obviously by adding stuff such as the 18 plus M-rated games that were on the system, because like the GameCube was kind of weak in that regard compared to like Xbox and PlayStation 2, because obviously they didn't get stuff like GTA 5, not GTA 5, GTA 3, GTA Vice City, GTA San Andreas. These games just overall skipped the whole GameCube, which is kind of a worry. But yeah, I do think there's a potential that Nintendo could make a mature app for the 18 rated GameCube games that they could be bringing to Switch Online expansion pack, similar to what they did with the Nintendo 64 app. And I think that would be good, and I would actually enjoy that. I think a lot of people would, because you'd get some more sort of obscure horror games that people kind of forgot about, as well as games like I said, Metal Gear Solid, Twin Snakes. Hopefully Konami would license that one. Not sure if they will or not, but that's something we can hope for. And it'd just be a way to build the roster of games on Switch Online expansion pack, whilst also keeping the more family-friendly stuff separate, because obviously you don't want kids playing in horror games really, because obviously you don't really want a kid playing Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, or Geist, and getting terrified and not sleeping properly. But I digress. That is my take. Let me know what you guys think about this take in the comments down below. Do you think Nintendo will release a GameCube app for the mature games on the GameCube on Switch Online? Do you think is what's going to happen? Do you think that's not going to happen? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, turn notifications. I've been EC, and I'll see you all in the next upload, hopefully. And like I said, if you haven't already dropped a follow, make sure you drop the follow, because we are trying to hit, 1,000. Oh, so we're already at 1,000, trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. So any help with that, I greatly appreciate it. Peace.